Stefan Hoffman stood in front of the bathroom mirror, adjusting his tie for the third time. His hands trembled slightly. 42 years old, mechanical engineer, married for 6 years to the love of his life, and today marked exactly 9 months since she vanished. 9 months of searching, of calling hospitals, of filing reports that went nowhere. 9 months of sleeping in an empty bed, of cooking dinner for one, of waiting for a phone call that never came. The house in Brookshire, Alabama felt like a tomb now. Every room held memories of Anna. Her coffee cup still sat on the kitchen counter unwashed, a lipstick stain on the rim, her romance novels stacked on the nightstand, her gardening gloves by the back door. Stefan couldn't bring himself to move anything. Moving her things meant accepting she wasn't coming back. Anna Hoffman, 38 years old, worked as a graphic designer for a small marketing firm downtown. Beautiful, talented, full of life. She'd been excited about the Creative Arts Expo at the Brookshire Convention Center last December. Local artists, designers, photographers, all showcasing their work. Anna had submitted her portfolio, hoping to network, maybe find freelance opportunities. She'd come home that evening glowing with excitement. "Stefan, I met someone incredible today, Marcus Albrecht, the fashion photographer. He loved my design work and wants to collaborate on a project. This could be huge for my career." Stefan had been happy for her. Marcus Albrecht was well known in the region, ran a high-end photography studio called Albrecht Visuals. His work appeared in magazines, fashion campaigns, luxury brand advertisements. Having his endorsement could launch Anna's freelance career. The next evening, December 14th, Anna drove to Albrecht's studio for their initial consultation. She'd dressed professionally, brought her updated portfolio, called Stefan at 7 to say she'd arrived safely. "The studio is amazing. We're about to discuss the project. I'll be home by 9. Love you." That was the last time Stefan heard his wife's voice. 9 o'clock came and went. 10, 11. Stefan called her phone repeatedly, straight to voicemail. At midnight, he drove to the studio address Anna had given him. The building was dark, locked, empty. No cars in the parking lot, no signs of life. He called the police. Officers found Anna's car 2 days later in a shopping center parking lot across town. Keys in the ignition, phone dead on the passenger seat, purse with wallet and ID still inside. No signs of struggle, no evidence of foul play. Just an abandoned vehicle and a missing woman. The police questioned Marcus Albrecht. He confirmed Anna had come to the studio. They'd discussed the collaboration project. She'd seemed enthusiastic. Around 8:30, she'd said she needed to leave, had an early morning meeting. He'd walked her to her car, watched her drive away safely. Security cameras from the studio showed exactly that. Anna leaving at 8:30, getting into her car, driving off alone. Police checked traffic cameras along her route home. Her car appeared on 3 different cameras, heading in the right direction. Then nothing. Somewhere between the studio and home, Anna Hoffman disappeared. The investigation lasted 3 weeks. Police checked her bank accounts, no activity after December 14th. Her phone's last ping was near the shopping center where her car was found. They interviewed friends, co-workers, family. Nobody had any information. No enemies, no problems, no reasons to run away. The detective assigned to the case, Michael Weber, was sympathetic but direct. "Mr. Hoffman, we've pursued every lead. Sometimes adults choose to start over, leave their old lives behind. It happens more than you'd think." Stefan had nearly hit him. Anna wouldn't do that. She loved her life. She loved me. Something happened to her. But without evidence, without witnesses, without any trace, the case went cold after a month, officially listed as a voluntary missing person. Adult with the right to disappear. Case closed. Stefan refused to accept it. He took leave from work, spent his savings hiring a private investigator. Rachel Klein, 45 years old, former police detective turned PI. She worked the case for 2 months before the money ran out, found nothing new. Every trail led nowhere. She'd been kind but honest in their final meeting. "Stefan, I'm sorry. Without new evidence, there's nothing more I can do. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but maybe Detective Weber was right. Maybe Anna did leave. Stefan had shown her out, then collapsed on the couch and cried for 3 hours. The next 6 months blurred together. He returned to work because bills didn't stop. Went through the motions. Wake up, shower, drive to the office, pretend to function, drive home, stare at the walls, sleep fitfully, repeat. His colleagues avoided him. His family stopped calling. Everyone had moved on except Stefan. He created a routine to survive. Every Saturday, he drove to Brookshire's downtown district, distributed missing person flyers with Anna's photo. Most people took them politely, threw them away minutes later. He knew this, but kept trying anyway. Every Sunday he called Detective Weber, asked if there were any updates. The answer was always no. Every evening he sat in Anna's home office, looked through her design portfolio, tried to understand what had happened. Her last project was still open on her computer, a logo design for a local bakery, unfinished, abandoned mid-creation, like her life. Tonight, 9 months later, Stefan was forcing himself to go out. His brother Klaus had insisted, "You can't keep living like this. Come with me to the city. We'll grab dinner, walk around, get your mind off things for a few hours." Klaus meant well. Stefan appreciated the effort, so he'd agreed, gotten dressed, tried to look like a functional human being instead of a grief-stricken shell. The drive to the city took 40 minutes. Klaus talked the entire time about work, about his kids, about normal life things that felt foreign to Stefan now. They parked downtown, walked toward a restaurant Klaus had picked, past storefronts, coffee shops, tourists taking photos. Stefan barely noticed any of it until Klaus stopped abruptly. "Hey, that boutique is new. Albrecht Atelier. Wasn't there last month?" Stefan looked up. Large storefront, elegant gold lettering, expensive-looking display windows. His blood ran cold. Albrecht Atelier. Marcus Albrecht's name. The photographer Anna had met the night she disappeared. Klaus pulled Stefan toward the restaurant, but Stefan couldn't move. His feet felt cemented to the sidewalk. Albrecht Atelier. Marcus Albrecht, the man who'd seen Anna last, now had a boutique in the city. "Stefan, come on, let's eat." Klaus tugged his arm. Stefan shook his head slowly. "I need to go in there." Klaus's expression changed. Bad idea. That photographer was cleared. Police said he had nothing to do with Anna's disappearance. Don't torture yourself. But Stefan was already walking toward the entrance. Klaus followed, cursing under his breath. The boutique interior was stunning. Polished marble floors, crystal chandeliers, soft classical music playing. A young saleswoman approached immediately, professional smile in place. "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Albrecht Atelier. Can I help you find something?" Stefan's mouth was dry. "Just looking." She nodded graciously. "Take your time. Our new collection just arrived from Milan, premium pieces in the back section if you're interested." She returned to her post near the register. Stefan walked slowly through the store. The front displayed women's clothing on mannequins, elegant dresses, designer coats, items with price tags that made Klaus whistle quietly. 5,000 for a dress. Who shops here? They moved deeper into the boutique, past accessories, past jewelry displays, toward the back section. A sign overhead read, "Exclusive Collection." The lighting was dimmer here, more intimate. 4 mannequins stood in carefully arranged poses. 3 female, 1 male, all positioned to showcase the clothing they wore. Stefan glanced at the first female mannequin. Generic features, standard display model. The second, similar. Then his eyes found the third. Time stopped. Stefan's heart hammered so violently he thought it might burst through his chest. The mannequin stood in the far corner, wearing a burgundy cocktail dress. But Stefan wasn't looking at the dress. He was looking at the face. Anna's face. Every feature, every detail, exactly as he remembered. The slight asymmetry of her eyebrows, the left one arching just a fraction higher than the right. The small scar on her chin from a childhood bicycle accident. The beauty mark near her left ear. barely visible unless you knew to look for it. The shape of her lips, the exact curve of her nose. This wasn't resemblance. This was Anna. Klaus grabbed his shoulder. "Stefan, you okay? You look like you're going to pass out." Stefan couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. He stepped closer to the mannequin, hands shaking. Klaus followed his gaze, looked at the mannequin, looked back at Stefan. "Oh God, that looks like Anna." It didn't just look like her. It was her. Stefan knew his wife, had memorized every inch of her face during 6 years of marriage, had stared at her photo every single day for 9 months. This was Anna's face. Exactly. Perfectly. Impossibly. He pulled out his phone with trembling hands, opened his photo gallery, found a picture from their last anniversary. Anna smiling at the camera, wearing the blue dress he'd bought her. He held the phone next to the mannequin's face. Klaus leaned in, comparing. His face went pale. "Stefan, that's identical. The eyebrows, the scar, everything. How is that possible?" Stefan's mind raced. High-end mannequins were designed to look realistic, but this level of detail was impossible. The asymmetrical eyebrows weren't a standard design choice. The scar wasn't decorative. The beauty mark wasn't randomly placed. These were Anna's specific, unique features. He reached out slowly, hand shaking, touched the mannequin's cheek. The texture was wrong. Not the cool, smooth plastic of a standard mannequin. Something else. A coating, thick and professional, but underneath, something softer. He pressed slightly. The surface had the faintest give, like preserved tissue beneath layers of sealant. The temperature was wrong too, not room temperature. Slightly warmer, as if retaining heat from some internal source. Klaus watched, horrified. "Stefan, what are you doing?" Stefan's hand moved to the mannequin's neck, adjusting the dress collar as if examining the garment. His fingers brushed the skin, the same strange texture, the same wrong temperature. His engineering mind cataloged the details clinically while his heart shattered. This wasn't fiberglass. This wasn't resin. This was something organic, preserved and coated. "We need to call the police." Stefan's voice came out strangled. Klaus nodded quickly. "Yeah. Yes. Right now." They stepped away from the mannequin. Stefan pulled out his phone, dialed 911 with shaking fingers. The operator answered professionally. 911, what's your emergency?" Stefan tried to keep his voice steady. "I'm at Albrecht Atelier Boutique on 5th Street. I found my wife. She's been missing for 9 months. She's here. They turned her into a mannequin." Silence on the line. Then carefully, "Sir, can you repeat that?" Stefan took a breath. "My wife, Anna Hoffman, disappeared December 14th. I just found her displayed as a mannequin in this boutique. Her face is identical. Every feature matches. I need police here immediately." The operator's tone shifted, becoming more skeptical. "Sir, are you saying a mannequin resembles your missing wife?" "No, it is her. Her exact face. Specific features only I would know. A scar, a beauty mark, asymmetrical eyebrows. Please send officers." The operator paused. "Units are responding to priority calls. Someone will come when available. Stay at the location." The line disconnected. Stefan stared at his phone. Klaus looked worried. "They're coming, right?" Stefan's jaw clenched. "Eventually." She didn't believe me. They waited near the entrance, watching the mannequin from a distance. The saleswoman noticed them lingering, approached again. "Is everything all right, gentlemen?" Stefan forced himself to sound calm. "Yes, thank you. Just waiting for someone." She smiled and moved away. 90 minutes passed. Stefan called 911 twice more. Different operators, same skeptical responses, same vague promises of units responding when available. Finally, a patrol car pulled up outside. One officer stepped out, middle-aged, looking annoyed. He entered the boutique, spotted Stefan and Klaus. "You called about a mannequin?" His tone made it clear what he thought of this call. Officer David Chen followed Stefan to the back section, barely concealing his irritation. Klaus trailed behind them, silent and tense. Stefan pointed at the mannequin in the burgundy dress. That's my wife, Anna Hoffman. She disappeared 9 months ago. Look at the face. Chen glanced at the mannequin briefly, then at Stefan. Sir, it's a display model. High-end boutiques use realistic mannequins. Stefan pulled out his phone, showed Anna's photo. Look closer. The eyebrows, one's higher than the other. The scar on her chin. The beauty mark by her ear. These aren't design choices. These are her specific features. Chen looked at the photo, then the mannequin, shrugged. Some resemblance, maybe. Mannequins are made to look attractive. Sometimes they happen to look like real people. Stefan's frustration boiled over. It's not resemblance. Touch it. The texture is wrong. It's not plastic. Chen's expression hardened. I'm not damaging private property based on a resemblance. Look, I understand you're grieving, but making false reports wastes department resources. Klaus stepped forward. Officer, please, just examine it more carefully. We're not crazy. Chen walked to the mannequin, knocked on its shoulder once. It made a dull sound, less hollow than expected. He frowned slightly but shook his head. It's fiberglass or resin, premium construction. That's why it sounds different. He turned back to Stefan. Your wife's case is on file. Detective Weber closed it months ago. No evidence of foul play. I'm sorry for your loss, but this is just a mannequin. You need to accept that and move on. Stefan grabbed Chen's arm desperately. Please, just test it. DNA test. Something, prove me wrong. Chen pulled away sharply. Sir, step back. We cannot damage private property without cause. I understand you're hurting, but harassing businesses isn't going to bring your wife back. If you continue this, I'll have to cite you for filing a false report. Klaus pulled Stefan back. It's okay, it's okay. Chen headed toward the exit. Stefan called after him. Her case shouldn't have been closed. Something happened to her, please. Chen paused at the door. Mr. Hoffman, grief does strange things to people. You're seeing patterns that aren't there because you want answers. Get counseling. Stop calling 911 about mannequins. He left. Stefan stood frozen, devastated. Klaus touched his shoulder gently. Stefan, we tried. The saleswoman approached, no longer smiling. Gentlemen, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're disturbing other customers. Before Stefan could respond, a new voice cut through the boutique. Is there a problem here? Everyone turned. Marcus Albrecht stood near the entrance, 51 years old, impeccably dressed in a designer suit, silver hair perfectly styled. He radiated authority and wealth. The saleswoman immediately deferred. Mr. Albrecht, these men were harassing us about one of the mannequins. They claimed it was someone they knew. Marcus walked over, studying Stefan with cool recognition. Mr. Hoffman, I remember you from the police investigation. I'm very sorry about Anna. She was a talented designer. Stefan's hands clenched into fists. That mannequin is wearing my wife's face. Exactly her face. Marcus looked at the mannequin Stefan indicated, then back at him with practiced sympathy. I understand your pain. Losing someone without closure is devastating. The mind searches for connections, for meaning. He gestured at the mannequin. But this is a custom piece from an Italian manufacturer. Cost $18,000, part of my premium collection. It arrived from Milan 3 months ago with authentication papers. Stefan's voice shook. Then prove it. Let us test it. If it's just a mannequin, you have nothing to hide. Marcus's expression shifted, sympathy replaced by cold firmness. This is my business, Mr. Hoffman, my property. You're making serious accusations based on grief-induced delusion. I was cooperative during the police investigation. I gave my statement. I was cleared completely. Anna left my studio safely that night. Security footage confirmed it. He stepped closer, voice lowering but somehow more menacing. I'm genuinely sorry for your loss, but I will not allow you to damage my reputation or my business. You're banned from this establishment, effective immediately. If you return, I will file harassment charges and seek a restraining order. Do you understand? Klaus tried to intervene. Mr. Albrecht, if you'd just let us verify... Marcus cut him off. Security, please escort these gentlemen out. A large security guard appeared from a back office. Carlton Meyer, 60 years old, former military, calm but immovable. He positioned himself between them and Marcus. "Gentlemen, time to go." Stefan looked past him at the mannequin one last time. Anna's face stared back, frozen in that terrible permanent smile. "Please," he whispered. "Please, just test it." Marcus's voice was ice. "Leave now, or I call the police back and have you arrested for trespassing." Carlton physically guided them toward the door, not rough but absolutely firm. Outside on the sidewalk, Stefan felt his world collapsing again. Klaus steadied him. "Stefan, we'll figure this out. We'll find another way." But Stefan knew the truth. He was a middle-class engineer. Marcus Albrecht was wealthy, connected, respected. The police had already dismissed him. The system protected people like Marcus, not people like Stefan. He stared at the boutique's glowing windows. Anna was in there. He knew it with absolute certainty, and nobody would help him prove it. Stefan couldn't sleep that night. He sat at Anna's computer, staring at the mannequin's face burned into his memory. Klaus had driven him home, made him promise not to do anything rash. But Stefan couldn't stop. At 2 a.m, he started searching. Missing persons databases for Alabama and surrounding states. News archives, social media groups for families of the missing. He searched for patterns, connections, anything linking to Marcus Albrecht. 3 hours later, he found the first case. Victoria Chen, 29, graphic designer from Montgomery, disappeared April 2019 after attending a photography workshop hosted by Marcus Albrecht. Her car found abandoned. No evidence of foul play. Case closed after 3 weeks. Voluntary disappearance. Stefan's hands trembled as he kept searching. Another case. Jennifer Paulson, 32, freelance photographer from Birmingham, disappeared July 2019. Last seen at an Albrecht Visuals networking event. Car found empty. Case closed. Voluntary disappearance. By dawn, Stefan had found 6 cases. 6 women, all between 28 and 37 years old. All worked in creative fields, design, photography, marketing. All attended events hosted by Marcus Albrecht. All disappeared within days of meeting him. All cases closed quickly with the same conclusion. He printed everything, created a timeline, mapped the connections. The pattern was undeniable. Monday morning, Stefan called Detective Weber. Voicemail. He called again an hour later. Weber finally answered, sounding annoyed. "Mr. Hoffman, I told you months ago. Your wife's case is closed." Stefan spoke quickly. "I found Anna. She's in Marcus Albrecht's boutique. He turned her into a mannequin. And there are 6 other women who disappeared the same way." Silence. Then Weber sighed heavily. "Mr. Hoffman, Officer Chen filed a report about your incident Saturday night. You harassed a business owner over a mannequin. You're lucky Albrecht didn't press charges." Stefan's voice rose. "Did you hear what I said? 6 other women disappeared after meeting Albrecht. 6 cases with the exact same pattern as Anna's." Weber's tone became sharp. "Those cases were investigated. No connection to Albrecht was found. He cooperated fully with every investigation. You're creating patterns that don't exist." Stefan tried to stay calm. "Please, just look at what I found. The timeline, the similarities." Weber cut him off. "Mr. Hoffman, you need professional help, grief counseling. You're spiraling. If you continue harassing Albrecht or filing false reports, I'll have no choice but to charge you. Do you understand?" The line went dead. Stefan stared at his phone. The system had failed Anna, failed 6 other women, failed their families. Because Marcus Albrecht was wealthy, respected, untouchable. Stefan knew what he had to do. He started calling the families. First, Victoria Chen's mother, Margaret. She answered cautiously. Stefan introduced himself, explained about Anna, told her what he'd found. Margaret was silent for a long moment. Then she started crying. "My Victoria went to Albrecht's workshop. She was so excited about networking with professional photographers. She never came home." Stefan's throat tightened. Did police investigate thoroughly? Margaret's voice broke. 3 weeks. They looked for 3 weeks, then said she probably moved to Atlanta for better opportunities. But Victoria called me every Sunday. Every single Sunday for 30 years. She wouldn't just leave. Stefan told her about the mannequin, about the face that was exactly Anna's, about being dismissed by police. Margaret sobbed. Do you think Victoria is there too? In that boutique? Stefan closed his eyes. I think it's possible. There are other mannequins. I only recognized Anna because I know her face so well. But there could be others. Margaret's voice hardened through her tears. What can we do? How do we make them listen? Stefan had been thinking about this all night. We organize, get all the families together, create enough pressure that police can't ignore us anymore. He called the other families, Jennifer Paulson's sister, Rebecca, Sarah Mitchell's husband, Tom. One by one, he told them about the pattern, about his discovery, about police dismissing him. Every family had the same story. Loved ones who disappeared after meeting Marcus Albrecht, investigations that closed quickly, police who stopped caring, families who never stopped searching. By Wednesday, Stefan had organized a meeting. 7 families gathered at a community center in Brookshire. The room was heavy with shared grief. Stefan stood at the front showing his timeline, his research, his documentation. 7 women disappeared over 2 years, all connected to Marcus Albrecht. All cases closed with the same conclusion. But our loved ones wouldn't just abandon us. Margaret Chen stood, voice shaking but determined. Police told me I needed to accept that Victoria left. But mothers know their children. I knew something was wrong. Nobody would listen. Tom Mitchell, Sarah's husband, spoke next. Same with Sarah. We were planning our family, trying for a baby. She wouldn't leave. Not like that, not without a word. Rebecca Paulson pulled out her phone, showed a photo of Jennifer. My sister was my best friend. We talked every day. She disappeared and suddenly I'm supposed to believe she ghosted her entire life. The anger in the room was palpable, but so was the determination. Stefan outlined his plan. We need to force a real investigation. The police won't listen to one grieving family. But 7 families, organized and persistent, that's harder to ignore. They created a petition. Justice for our missing women. Investigate Marcus Albrecht. Listed 7 names, 7 faces, 7 stories. Demanded thorough investigation of Albrecht Atelier. DNA testing of mannequins. Reopening of closed cases. They posted it online, shared it across social media, sent it to local news stations. Within 2 days, they had 500 signatures. Within a week, 3,000. The petition hit 10,000 signatures by the 2nd week. A local news station called Stefan wanted to do a story. Channel 7 reporter Amanda Brooks arrived at his house Thursday afternoon, camera crew in tow. She was professional, sympathetic, thorough. Stefan showed her everything. The timeline, the cases, the documentation. He showed Anna's photo next to the picture he'd taken of the mannequin on his phone. Amanda's eyes widened. Mr. Hoffman, that resemblance is remarkable. The story aired Friday night. 6 o'clock news. Stefan watched with Klaus and the other families gathered at his house. Amanda's report was powerful, detailed, damning. She listed all 7 women, showed their photos, outlined the pattern, interviewed Stefan, Margaret Chen, Tom Mitchell. Ended with a direct question to Brookshire Police Department. Why were these cases closed so quickly? Why wasn't Marcus Albrecht investigated more thoroughly? The response was immediate. Social media exploded. The story went viral locally, then regionally. By Saturday morning, state news picked it up. By Sunday, national outlets were calling. CNN, ABC, Fox. Everyone wanted the story. 7 missing women, all connected to one wealthy photographer, all displayed as mannequins. The hashtag started trending. Justice for Anna, test the mannequins, Brookshire 7. Monday morning, protesters gathered outside Brookshire Police Department. 50 people holding signs. Investigate Albrecht. 7 women matter. Why did you close the cases? By afternoon, the crowd had doubled. Local activists joined. Women's rights groups, family advocacy organizations. The pressure became unbearable. Police Chief Raymond Foster held a press conference Tuesday morning. 63 years old, career cop, looking exhausted and defensive. We are reopening investigations into 7 missing persons cases connected to Marcus Albrecht. We take these concerns seriously and will conduct thorough examinations. The families watched from the front row. Stefan felt Margaret Chen grab his hand, squeezing tight. Chief Foster continued. We will be executing a search warrant at Albrecht Atelier. Forensic teams will examine the premises and inventory. We apologize to the families for any perceived inadequacies in previous investigations. Perceived inadequacies. Stefan wanted to scream, but this was progress. Finally, someone was listening. Wednesday afternoon, the forensic team arrived at Albrecht Atelier. Detective Weber led the investigation, along with Detective Lisa Morgan and forensic specialist Dr. James Patterson. They brought portable X-ray equipment, evidence collection kits, a medical examiner. Marcus Albrecht met them at the door, lawyer by his side, looking calm and cooperative. Of course, investigate thoroughly. You'll find these accusations are baseless. Grieving families exploiting my business? Dr. Patterson set up his equipment in the back section. 4 mannequins stood there now. Stefan had only seen 3 Saturday night. Had Marcus added another? Or removed some? Dr. Patterson positioned the first mannequin, the one in the burgundy dress. The one Stefan knew was Anna. He activated the scanner. The machine hummed, processing. The image appeared on the laptop screen. Detective Morgan leaned in, went completely still. Detective Weber moved closer, his face draining of color. Dr. Patterson stared at the screen, then looked at the mannequin, then back at the screen. My God, he whispered. The X-ray showed clear skeletal structure. Human, unmistakable. Spine running vertically, ribs forming a cage, pelvis, leg bones, arm bones, skull with jaw and teeth. Not hollow, not plastic, not empty. A complete human skeleton, preserved, positioned upright, coated in layers of material. Detective Weber turned to Marcus, voice shaking with rage. Marcus Albrecht, you're under arrest for murder. Marcus's confidence cracked. What? No, that's impossible. It's just a mannequin. Weber grabbed his arm, pulling out handcuffs. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Marcus's lawyer stepped forward. This is outrageous. Those are imported mannequins. You're destroying my client's reputation. Dr. Aisha. Patterson scanned the second mannequin. Same result. Human skeletal structure. Complete, intact, preserved. The third mannequin. Same. The fourth. Same. 4 murdered women, turned into display pieces, standing in a boutique while families searched desperately. Detective Morgan called for backup crime scene teams, the coroner. The boutique was now a multiple homicide scene. Stefan got the call an hour later. Detective Weber, voice heavy with emotion. Mr. Hoffman, you were right. We found them. All 4 mannequins contain human remains. We're conducting DNA testing to confirm identities, but preliminary examination suggests one is your wife. I'm so sorry we didn't believe you. Stefan collapsed. Klaus caught him, held him while he sobbed. 9 months of searching, of being dismissed, of being called delusional. He'd been right. Anna had been there, 3 miles from his house, displayed in a boutique window while he drove past it dozens of times distributing flyers. She'd been there while police closed her case, while Detective Weber told him to move on, while Officer Chen mocked him for seeing patterns. DNA results came back over the next week. Dr. Patterson worked around the clock, extracting samples from the preserved remains. The coating was professional grade, multiple layers, but they drilled access points carefully. Each confirmation destroyed another family. Anna Hoffman confirmed. Victoria Chen confirmed. Jennifer Paulson confirmed. Sarah Mitchell confirmed. 4 women, 4 families, 4 lives stolen. The other 3 mannequins Stefan had seen that first night were no longer in the boutique. Police suspected Marcus had moved them after Stefan's confrontation, hidden them somewhere. Search warrants were executed on his photography studio, his home, a storage unit he rented. They found 3 more preserved bodies, not yet coded or displayed. 7 total victims. Detective Morgan called each family personally. Stefan took the call in Anna's office, surrounded by her unfinished designs. Mr. Hoffman, DNA confirms the remains are your wife. I cannot express how sorry I am that we failed her, that we failed you. Stefan's voice was hollow. Can I see her? Can I bury her properly? Morgan's silence was heavy. The remains are evidence until after trial, but yes, after that, she'll be released to you for burial. Marcus Albrecht's interrogation was recorded, played later in court. Detective Weber sat across from him, barely containing his rage. Why did you kill 7 women? Marcus, calm, almost serene, responded without his lawyer's advice. I didn't kill them. I preserved them, elevated them to eternal beauty. Weber's hands clenched. Elevated them. Marcus leaned forward, eager to explain. Beauty fades, detective. Age destroys perfection. I captured these women at their peak, made them immortal. They should be grateful. The confession was chilling in its lack of remorse. Marcus described his process clinically, how he'd select women with classical features and perfect proportions from his events, invite them for private consultations, serve drugged wine, perform preservation using embalming techniques he'd learned from a mortician friend years ago, coat the bodies in layers of resin and fiberglass, display them publicly so others could worship their eternal beauty unknowingly. The trial was swift. Marcus pled not guilty by reason of insanity, but prosecutors demolished that defense. He'd planned meticulously, targeted specific victims, covered his tracks, moved evidence when discovered. That showed clear awareness of wrongdoing. The jury deliberated 6 hours. Guilty on 7 counts of first-degree murder. Guilty on 7 counts of desecration of human remains. The courtroom erupted, families sobbing, holding each other. Sentencing hearing 2 weeks later. Each family gave victim impact statements. Stefan spoke last, hands gripping the podium. Anna was my wife, my partner, my everything. She had dreams of growing her design business, of starting a family. You stole that future from her, from us. His voice broke. You displayed her for 9 months while I searched. While I begged police to look harder. While I was called delusional for knowing my own wife's face, and you feel nothing. You think you created art. He looked directly at Marcus. You didn't create anything. You destroyed 7 lives, 7 families, 7 futures. You're not an artist. You're a monster. The judge sentenced Marcus to 7 consecutive life terms without parole. He'd die in prison. As bailiffs led him away, Marcus looked back at the families one final time. One day you'll understand the gift I gave them. Nobody responded. He wasn't worth the breath. 6 months later, Stefan stood in a new memorial park where Albrecht Atelier once stood. The building had been demolished, the land converted into a garden. 7 granite monuments arranged in a circle, each bearing a name, a photo from life, dates, and a brief inscription. Anna Hoffman, 1985-2019. Graphic designer, beloved wife. She dreamed in color and loved without limits. The dedication ceremony drew hundreds. All 7 families stood together, united by tragedy, but also by their refusal to give up. Margaret Chen spoke about Victoria, Tom Mitchell about Sarah. Stefan spoke about Anna, about how the families had organized, fought, forced the system to listen. Our loved ones deserved better. They deserved thorough investigations, not closed cases. They deserved to be believed. Because of their deaths, Brookshire police implemented new protocols, mandatory follow-ups for missing persons, better training, community oversight. That's their legacy. After the speeches, Stefan stood alone at Anna's monument, placed fresh flowers, touched the warm stone. I found you, Anna. I never stopped looking, I never stopped believing. You're home now, you're safe. Klaus joined him, put a hand on his shoulder. They stood in silence, watching other families do the same at their loved ones' monuments. The garden would grow, The names would be remembered, and 7 women who'd been turned into objects were finally honored as the people they'd always been. Stefan would carry the weight of those 9 months forever. The guilt of not finding her sooner, but also the certainty that he'd never given up. In the end, love had been stronger than evil. Anna was home.